Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of the T4Cast. So, what I'm going to be talking about in this one is higher education. Basically, schools, like high schools and stuff, and colleges, and possibly even parents are all uninformed, and they kind of just, I don't know, everyone's just throwing that out there. Oh, you need to go to college, you need to go to college, you need to go to college, you need to go to college. But there's a little bit more to it than that. And yeah, I know a bit about college because, well, I did a lot of it, as we'll find out in this episode. So basically, this cast is going to be, it's, for a lack of a better way to describe it, it's going to be a two-parter. I don't want to do two-parters, and I don't like the idea of two-parters. So it's not a true two-parter, but it's just going to be a two-parter in the sense of, in this episode, I'm just going to talk about my background, and then in the next episode, I'm going to talk about basically revealing truths behind going to college that you don't get when you're, like I said, in high school or whatever. You know, you just always hear the, oh, you gotta go to school, gotta go to school, gotta go to school. No one ever actually stops and says, well, let's consider this. So, anyway, here's my long story about my life. So, I'd say I've probably always been more advanced for, like, the way I think. Like, when I was a kid, I don't mean to make it sound like I've just been so mentally advanced. I never was even a child. I was a kid when I was a kid. But at the same time, like, I always thought about things bigger than me. Like, my future. What am I going to do as a grown-up? What do I want my life to be like? Blah, 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 blah. So, in 6th grade, I ended up determining that I would be a 2nd grade teacher. I actually had a few ideas. I wanted to be, the dream, I guess you could say, ideas would be to be either an actor or do music of some kind. I don't know what I had in mind during those days. But, because I like to be goofy, still do. I mean, my videos aren't really super goofy, but in real life, when I'm just with friends or whatever, I'm just an idiot all the time. And I always thought, I could probably be good for movies, act stupid. Like, during those days, Jim Carrey was normal and a much bigger star in the world of comedy. And, like, he was my favorite actor at the time. I liked his movies, and he was, he's famous for acting like a doofus. And I always thought, I do that. I can be like him. Not be like him in the sense of copy him, but you know what I mean? Like, act like an idiot and make a career out of it. So those were always, like, the dream jobs. Like, I didn't know how I'd actually go about achieving those, so I came up with a real job, which was 2nd grade teacher. So the reason I decided 2nd grade teacher was because I thought about it, and I'm like, kids in 2nd grade, they don't learn anything hard. I mean, here I am in 6th grade thinking this. Like, they don't learn hard stuff. Even now, my daughter just graduated from 2nd grade, if you will, if you want to call it graduated. And, yeah, she's learning double-digit addition and subtraction. She's learning how to count change, and she's learning how to read a analog clock. Oh, and they're teaching her how to write paragraphs. Like, that's all simple stuff, even for a 6th grader. So, I thought, yeah, this would be a wicked easy job. Like, there'd be no brain to it at all. Everything that I'm going to teach these kids, I know like an expert, What's 11 plus 21, teacher? Simple. It's not like asking what's the triple integral of, some long equation. And it's like, all right, I can figure this out, but give me 10 minutes to do it all. So, that's why I thought of that. And I also chose specifically 2nd grade because I thought, all right, so kindergarten, those are little kids. I mean, most of them, 90% of the kids that are going to be in well, maybe not anymore. Probably more moms and dads are working in today's world because the economy is different than it used to be. But my generation growing up, you probably had a lot of the kids had their moms as a stay-at-home mom. So it's like, you get these kids that are used to just easy, lackadaisical days that are just filled with playing and no worries and cares in the world. So I'm like, man, trying to teach those kids anything has got to be hard. And then I thought, first grade? First grade's the hangover of kindergarten. Like, they're 6-year-olds. They still want to have long recesses and fooling around. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like a second grader doesn't have that ideology either, but it's different. They're at a weird transition where they're starting to change. They've been in school for a couple of years now, so they know how it works. They are, starting to learn not harder stuff, but it's a little bit more involved. Learning change. They don't even have a use for money for the next, what's a second grader, 7? So they don't have any use for money for the next 9 years of their life, but they're learning how to count it. So when the time comes, so it's starting to get a little bigger, a little bit more. They understand that their work's important and they got to pay attention. So there's that, but at the same time, I didn't think like 3rd or 4th grade, because I thought a 3rd grader and a 4th grader, well, let's see, 4th graders, those are pre-middle schoolers. Well, once you hit middle school, kids are just, out of control. I remember when I was in 5th grade, all the kids were swearing, and they were talking about inappropriate things that you wouldn't think 10-year-olds know about, but that's what the economy was. So 4th grade is the pre of that, you know what I mean? So maybe, what if kids have older siblings? That means they're hearing it from them, possibly. And then they're just going to be like wildfire, and then all the 4th graders are going to know this stuff. And so I'm like, I don't really want to deal with that. And then there's also, like, some of the kids could be, like, heavily attitudinal. Like, 4th grade, most kids are 9. So you could be 9 or 10 in 4th grade. Well, bluntly, that's when some girls start puberty. So those ones might have mood swings and stuff. I don't really know how this works, but I know when you get older, supposedly the PMS, there are mood swings and crap. So I was thinking, oh man, what if it's like that when it first starts too? Like, I don't want to deal with that. Some kid was all mad just because, she's having her situation. So I didn't want that. In 3rd grade, I said no to, because, they'd probably be even more studious than a 2nd grader, but at the same time, they're the pre-4th grade. So kind of like the ideas of a 4th grader being too close to 5th grade, like 3rd is too close to 4th. So it's like there could be some trickle down from some of those 4th grade kids and problems, and I was just, nah, I'm good. So 2nd seemed perfect. Easy, and material-wise, easy hour-wise, a clean enough job. Yeah, it's germy, but physically I'm not going to go home all dirty. And it's, the kids are at, like, the right stage to be able to instruct and not have to deal with extraneous stuff such as attitudes. Well, I had that sentiment. Oh, actually, I also had an idea that I would, drink milk all the time, and probably drink it out of like a dog bowl. Not like a dog bowl a dog actually used, like a new bowl, but it's a dog bowl. And other things, I always envisioned myself as pretty ripped. Well, the ripped stuff was starting when I was 18, 19, 20, and then it kind of stopped due to life, and then, I'm nowhere near ripped anymore now. So that's unfortunate. As far as the milk, that's a 50-50. I actually do still drink a lot of milk, which I think probably contributes to my nasty body, so I gotta quit it, but I like milk too much. But on the other hand, I don't use dog bowls. And it's not something that I wouldn't put past me. I am dumb enough to do that and think it's cool, but I just never bought a dog bowl for me yet. Anyways, moving on. So I did always have that sentiment to be a 2nd grade teacher all the way through all the rest of middle school, all my high school. That was just what I was doing. That was my vision. Well, once I got to senior year of high school, I ended up doing really good in my math class. Senior year, I had pre-calc, and quick interjection right here. I had to run off. My dang cat has been outside for 2 days. I don't know where she's been. Like, yesterday she came up to the door, and she looked in, and then I was calling her before that to come up, and she's just standing at the bottom of the stairs looking at me like, oh, I want to play games. So then she comes up after like 5 minutes later, and I'm doing something. So I'm like, you know what? You made me wait. You can wait. Well, it was only like 2 minutes, and I was done what I was doing. I turn around. She's not there. I look. She's not down the stairs. I don't know where the heck she is. So I end up just giving up. I figure it was, it's been rainy. So I figured it's probably started to drizzle a little. And so I don't like this. So she ran off to go hide somewhere. Well, she never came back at all the rest of the night. Then I didn't see her at all today until, I don't know, 20 minutes ago. Like right now it's 8:55. So she just got in around, probably like 8:40ish. She came in. So obviously she's been outside for quite some time because I put her out yesterday morning before I went to work. So it's been like a day and a half, day and, 40 hours or something. And so she comes in, packs down a lot of food. And now what's that do? Always makes an animal vomit. Well, where does she vomit? Right here in my living room rug. And it's just annoying because where was she? She's literally 4 inches away from linoleum. You couldn't just hang your head over there and throw up where it's exponentially easier to clean. No, you gotta do it right there on the rug. I took a second to complain about this because it's annoying. I'm trying to do this, and I gotta deal with cleaning up vomit. And, like, can animals always do this? I don't know why they're always so dumb. It's like my mom. She has an outside deck and or porch, whatever you want to say. And she's got furniture on it. And the cats, if they're outside laying on the furniture, they're just, I'm just going to throw up right here. Yeah, don't jump down and vomit on the deck where it's 9 billion times easier to clean. Or just jump off the deck in general and throw up in the grass like you should. Nope. Just stay right where you are and just throw up all over the place. What's even more stupid is half the time these cats continue laying there right next to it. Oh, I feel better now. Let me just lay next to my barf because I'm stupid. That's how it always is. I don't know why animals are so stupid. Why would you throw up on the rug? Now it's interrupting my cast. Anyway, to try to get back into it. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, senior year of high school, I did really good in my math class. So I had pre-calc, and what happened was I got the second highest grade in the class overall. And even then, it was pretty close to a tie. Like, I don't really remember offhand what the grades were. What I think in my mind is actually pretty low, so maybe I'm wrong. But it was something like maybe I had a 91.7, and the person that was in first had like a 92.3. As their overall grade. Like, for the most part, we're pretty close. So then I thought about it, and I'm like, math is one of the STEM or STEAM, whichever way you want to look at it, programs. I was like, that means it's an in-demand job. And I was like, or in-demand field, which would result in an in-demand job. And then I was thinking, math is one of those subjects that people don't like either. Like, people always are, I got math homework, I got... people hate math. And I was like, maybe I'm secretly good at this. Because, see, all along, I never really did good in math. Like, I didn't do bad, but, like, I remember 9th grade, I used to, I had Algebra 1. And, like, I probably got, like, something like a low B in there. And, like, my tests, the teacher used to let you stay late to finish your test. And I used to always have to stay late to finish the test. He'd be teaching the next class, and I'm in the back trying to finish my test. And then sophomore year, I had geometry, which I don't remember how I did. I know I did much better. It was either like a high B or a low A. And then algebra 2, I don't know what the heck was wrong with me that year, but I know I did bad. I had like a mid C in algebra 2. And then pre-calc, it just all of a sudden, I did good. And it was like, huh? Where did this math ability come from? So then I start to think, maybe I'm good at higher order math. Maybe like this basic math, I just, maybe for some reason I suck at basic math, but I'm good at upper order math. So now I'm like, I can't be a second grade teacher if I'm good at math. Which, side note, I don't think being a second grade teacher would work for me very well anyways. Now that I have experience with young kids, oh man, that would be too annoying. Trying to convey stuff to them. Man, half the time trying to help my daughter with her homework is annoying. Like, it's something super basic that she's being dumb about, and it's making me annoyed. And I think about those days when I thought I'd be a second grade teacher, and I'm like, oh my word, this would never work. A whole class of kids that are this dumb, they can't figure out something this basic. Ugh. So, anyways, back to the story though. So that's when I was like, I gotta try something with math. And I'm like, too bad I'm senior year, and now I discover this. Like, this couldn't have happened anytime sooner, so I have more time to plan. So what I ended up doing is I went to the local community college. And basically I went there and I told them, hey, this is what my trajectory was, but then I discovered I'm good at math, so I want to kind of explore options and have more time to think, but at the same time try to get some credits under my belt. So the first degree I pursued was which would become my associate's in liberal arts and sciences. Now, liberal arts and sciences is pretty worthless. I think the only thing more worthless than that is Gen Ed, which Gen Ed is super worthless. That's basically like, I went to 13th grade because I didn't want to grow up after high school. Like, the worst part is I've seen in curriculums at some schools that they actually offer a bachelor's in Gen Ed. I'm like, what do you use a bachelor's in Gen Ed for? Nothing. Like, that's the most worthless bachelor's degree. That's just the school robbing you of money. Like, oh, you're dumb enough to give that to us? Okay, we'll take it. Like, a bachelor's in Gen Ed is not going to do anything for you anywhere. I don't think you can even be a substitute teacher with that. At least my liberal arts and sciences is pretty basic too, but it's a mild step up. At least it's focused. Gen Ed, there's no focus. It's Gen Ed. Liberal arts and sciences is basically also Gen Ed, but at least there's a focus. Like, you want to go a path of either arts or sciences. So, anyhow, that one took me 3 years to get. The only reason it took me so long instead of the usual year and a half is because, well, this was all new. I mean, I got a car, I think I got my car in July of the year I graduated high school. So, all along my life was not much in terms of bills. And now all of a sudden I have a car, I have insurance, I have to worry about gas. Now I'm attending college. I mean, I just got a car 2 months ago. Now I'm attending college. I need to pay for the classes, the books. And it was just like, oh my word, all this money I got to come up with out of nowhere. I mean, I had a job since I was 14. So I wasn't worried about money like that, but it was just like, oh my God, all of a sudden, all this money I got to shill out. So my first semester I only took 2 classes because I was like, geez, what is this going to cost me? I think it was like $800 for the 2 classes for 1 semester plus the books. And I was like, what? So then the second semester I took 3 classes. I kind of got brave and I was like, maybe I can figure this out, how to pay. Well, then I ended up discovering that the classes went by up to a certain amount of credits you had to pay for. Then after that, it was free. I think it was like 12 credits, but you could only take up to 18 credits. Was it 12? No, maybe it was 16 credits or something. I don't know, 15. Maybe it was 15 credits. And up to 18 credits was, I don't know what it was. I don't know. They had some kind of situation, though. So then when I realized that, I was like, well, geez, I gotta start taking as many classes as I can so that I can make up for the beginning. So, I started to get used to having all this money I had to worry about. I was working full-time anyways, so I was able to handle it. I was living at home. I didn't have rent during those days. My parents didn't charge me rent because I had to pay tuition. That was the trade-off. My brother had to pay rent because after high school, that was it. But I didn't have to because I had tuition. So I was working full-time and I had all that figured out. So I was like, okay. So I started to max out the classes that I could do. So that then I could try to start catching up for my first 2 semesters. So that's why it took longer. Anyhow, when I was still attending that school, during my what would become the last year of my time at that school, I did already apply to and get accepted to my next college, which was a what do I call it? I don't know. I don't know what the word is to call the school without giving away my degree. But what I did was I ended up studying. Let me back up a bit. So, during my time while I was at the community college, I thought about things and what I like. I didn't really know what way to go, but so I asked my mom for some ideas, and she was like, "Well, you like math and you like taking stuff apart, so try to do something with that. Maybe like engineering or something." And then I was like, okay, I guess." At that time, I didn't know what engineering was really. All I knew about engineering was, the train conductors. So I looked into it, and then I discovered mechanical engineering, and I was like, all right, yeah, this seems like something that could work for me. So I went a route of that at my next school. I majored in mechanical engineering. I only have the associates. I've always wanted to get the bachelor's or even higher, but I haven't needed it yet, and I've gotten some pretty sick jobs with just an associate's. So I'm like, whatever. It's been getting me pretty far so far. So, if the day ever comes that I need the bachelor's, well, I guess I'll have to deal with it then. But so far, it's been good. So anyway, also on a side note is ever since I've been in industry though, I haven't needed to use math, which is kind of disappointing. I thought engineering would go hand in hand with math like my mom thought, but I've never used it. I mean, the job I have now, I've used it, but even then, that's not part of the job. It's just me doing just trying to be smart and trying to show them new ways to do things using math. But, it's not really like part of my job. So, I don't know. But anyway, that's what I majored in. So I went to a school that was kind of like an accelerated program. That one was 18 months. Yeah. And yeah, so you're part of a curriculum though. So even though I had a lot of my credits transfer in from the community college I went to, I wasn't able to speed up my degree any faster because, like I said, you're part of a curriculum. So like everybody that was in my class at that time that I went in 2009 to 2011, we all progressed at the same speed. We all started in the first class and graduated at the same time. We had the same core classes, same engineering classes all along, same time, everything. It was like grade school again. We were all the same students in the same class. So I guess though it offered me the chance to take less electives since I did transfer out of a lot of them from my time at the community college. So in that regard, I guess I saved some time because I took night classes. I took night classes so I could work during the day. So I used to work in the early morning. I'd go to work at, what time did I go? I think I went at 4. Had to be at work for 4. And then I used to do 4 to 1. And then I would go home, take my shower, and then do my homework. Now, during those days, I didn't have a computer or internet. So I needed to go to school early if I had any homework that required a computer, which majoring in engineering, there's a lot of homework that needs a computer because there's the software, SolidWorks and Inventor Professional. That's what we used during those days for training, if you will. And then obviously anything that I had to type and stuff. So that's what I did. I worked early and then went to school early so I could do homework and then took my classes. My first class was always at 5:45. So that's what I did there. And then I graduated from there, like I said, in 2011. I graduated so May 2011, and my first job was mid-June. I mean, not mid, early July, maybe mid, I don't know, early mid, there you go. I think I started my first job June 11th or June 14th, I forget which one it was, but 2011, so I ended up being fortunate enough that I graduated and 2 months later I had a job. So this was for a tool shop that made molds for plastic injection. Um, Basically, I served as the assistant mold designer. They had their lead engineer and then me. So he did all the designs of the molds, and I did everything else. I made all the drawings, I ordered all the steel, I ordered all the other components that we needed. I sometimes would have to coordinate with shipping. I made bills of materials. Everything else. Like, during those days, I never realized how many roles I was taking on, but I've been to other companies and I realized, wow, I was doing like 7 jobs myself. Oh, I was even part-time secretary there because the secretary we had wouldn't show up until like 11 o'clock. So from 7:30 in the morning when I'd get there until 11 o'clock, I had to answer the dang phone and stuff. So that's what I did there. It was pretty cool there. It wasn't a bad company. It was very small. I mean, it was extremely mom and pop. I mean, majority of the employees were family, and the few scragglers that weren't family were there for a long time, except for me. I was I was basically the only person that wasn't family and wasn't there for a long time. But yeah, overall I think they had 19 employees total, and that included 3 drivers, the secretary, and myself. So, oh, and a maintenance person. I forgot about that. So yeah, it's a small place, but it wasn't bad. It was definitely a good starting job. So I was there for 3.5 years. What ended up happening was my pay was terrible. I mean, I was only making $14.75 an hour, and this was in 2014. And I don't know what the pay rate is supposed to be, but I thought about it and I was like, this definitely is too low. I mean, I've been in the world of engineering for 3 years now. I should be making more than borderline minimum wage. Well, actually, during those days, minimum wage was $9.10, so I was basically making 50% more than minimum wage. But I was like, I know so many people that have had minimum wage jobs and they've been there for like 6-7 years, and they're almost making as much as I do. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I've been here for 3 years and I make this much, but I also have a degree. Like, that should matter exponentially. Like, these people that, you know what I mean? Like, it just felt weird that I was almost making the same amount as McDonald's employees who have just been with the company for 6-7 years. Like, it just didn't feel right. And I basically was working 2 jobs full-time during those days because that's when my daughter was a baby. She was born August 2012. So I have this stupid child support and stuff, and like, it was too much. So I had to work tons of hours, and I was like, man, I don't want to keep doing this forever. So that's when I started looking for a job, and I found something quickly, actually. It was this company out in near Boston, kind of. And they're actually a massive company, but it's funny because they're super niche. Like, most people probably have never heard of the company because there's no reason for common people to know about them. I never knew about them until I started job searching. But they're massive. I mean, they're literally global. Pick a big country. They have a facility there. Mexico? Yep. China? Yep. Taiwan? Yep. Where else do they have plants? Belgium? Yep. Or is it Belgium or Bulgaria? One of those two. We always just called it Netherlands, but it wasn't actually Netherlands. It was just the guy generalizing who used to always say that. But yeah, I think we had a plant in Japan as well. We had a couple in the United States, obviously the one I worked at, and I think one in California or somewhere out that way. Actually though, the plant I worked at was the global headquarters. So like the CEO and all of them were at my facility, so we could actually regularly see them walking around in the hallways and what have you. But yeah, huge company. And I mean, I was there for 3.5 years as well, and during the time that I was there, they more than doubled their size. Like, They went from profits of $3 billion a year when I started to $7 billion when I left. Well, maybe not profits, but sales. There you go, sales. I always say profits, but it's not profits. It's sales. I think the profits were only like 900 million, only. But yeah, it was actually a huge company. So, anyways, what I did there though was I worked as a circuit board designer, and we serviced primarily the automotive industry. It was like 95% automotive, and then 5% other, if you will. It was just random stuff like water boilers and other random things that would need circuit boards that are not like toys though. Like we called that branch, it was controls / industrial sensing. So, but it was mostly automotive. So, yeah, that was a pretty awesome job though. That paid really well, had fantastic benefits. That was a good job. I mean, there's a story why I'm not there anymore. It's not my choosing or anything, but I'm not going to get into that now because I could make a whole cast on that alone. So anyway, I've done that, and then now I serve as chief engineer at back in the plastics world again. At the company I'm at now, we design and manufacture plastic containers, enclosures. So we do the container and the cap, and it's primarily for the cosmetic industry. I think we have a few. Do we have a few? I don't know. It might be only cosmetic, actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, and this is where I'm at now. Is actually a super awesome job too. Like I have an entire suite to myself. And when I say suite, I mean I have 3 rooms plus a massive conference room, plus restrooms, all to myself. Where I am, it's pretty awesome. I like it. So yeah, what was I thinking about? Yeah, the job I'm at now. So it's just a cool job. I like it. So, as I said, my associates in mechanical engineering has got me some pretty sick jobs. So I've never needed the bachelor's yet. Like, yeah, I would like to go get a master's someday. That would look cool on a resume, but what would be the point? I'd have a master's degree to have the same job I have now? Like, if I don't need it, why get it, you know? Anyway, though, my college education doesn't stop there. In 2000... So what year are we now? 2013, I think. I enrolled in online education and got a bachelor's in mathematics. This one took me 2 years to get, only because, again, I had so many electives that I was able to get transfer credits for due to my community college days and my engineering college days. So really all I had to focus on was the math courses. And I took 1 class a semester. And I still was able to get the bachelor's in 2 years. So that's a lot of stuff I transferred out of. That I had credits that transferred for, to be able to take 1 class a semester. And I think was there 3 or 4 semesters a year? I think it was 3. No, it was 6, never mind. There was 3 from January to June, and then 3 more from like July to December. You had like a month off in between there. So, yeah, I have that as well. Now, unfortunately, I have been trying very hard to get some kind of side gig or even a main job, ditch engineering and do something that has to do with math. I've been trying since I got the dang degree, and I haven't gotten anywhere yet. I thought math was something people hated, and it was one of the STEM course areas of study and all this, and like, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time. It almost seems like it's a lie that this is a hot subject. I don't know. I've been trying, and I'm not going to give up. I mean, right now I've given up only because of this COVID crap. Like, where am I going to find something? Nowhere. But when this clears up, when they have a antidote, or not antidote, a cure or whatever, vaccine, then I can start again. I have some ideas for what I'm going to try. So when I can, I'll be on it. Hopefully I get something. But yeah, so those are my 3 degrees. A bachelor's in mathematics, an associate's in mechanical engineering, and an associate's in liberal arts and sciences. With that said, it's probably funny because, sometimes I probably seem like a dummy on my videos, but I'm really not. I mean, a lot of people at the job I have now actually, what's the word? Esteem me for my intelligence, I guess you could say. Like, they turn to me to figure things out or to prepare official documents and stuff because they know I'm going to do a fantastic job. Which, when it comes to writing, I can do a insanely good job. Like, I can't talk too well. Like, I try on these, I do these and I stumble a little and I struggle with thinking of the word, but when I write something, it's just, you probably wouldn't think it would come from me. If you listen to this and then you read something I write, you'd be like, yeah, that's not the same person. And it's like, nope, it is. Just works better when I'm typing. So, yeah. I guess that's it for this episode now, because I feel like if I keep talking, I'm gonna end up getting into what I want to talk to the next episode. And I almost feel like talking about my jobs may have already been what should have been in the next episode. I don't know. No, maybe not. I can still tie it in so that it works, because now what I can do is, instead of introducing the jobs, I can refer back to them here. So that's okay, actually. Never mind. So yeah, this is my ending part. 3 degrees. So I know what I'm talking about when I talk about what I talk about in the next episode. That's where I guess it'll matter that I got this episode done, because when I start saying stuff in the next episode, you're gonna need to have credentials to say those things, and I just proved I do have those credentials. So yeah, guess that's about it. So until next Wednesday, I said see ya. And thanks for listening. Bye!